one of the members of our board, and Yana's going to talk a little bit more about the importance of our relationships and collaborations and connections moving on. So everyone, give it up to Yana. Thank you.
Hi everyone, class of 2017 here. Really excited to see some familiar faces and some new faces. Also a bit strange for me to be up here, considering I'm usually the one doing the invitation of speakers. Pia and Kristen, awesome, amazing job. It's a bit of a different vibe to be here yourself, right? So, connections. So, I wanted to talk to you today about the value of connections and trust, and I guess I can begin by introducing you to someone who I follow on LinkedIn. His name is Simon Sinek. Maybe some of you have heard of him, some of you have not. He's an author, American/British, and he talks on topics like leadership and management, relationships, amongst other things. So there was a TED Talk by him that I stumbled upon, and I thought this is really interesting stuff, so I wanted to share that. So Simon shares his interaction with a Navy SEALs captain. He comes up to the captain and says to him, "Hey, you're a Navy SEALs captain. What does it take to onboard a Navy SEAL? I mean, this is the toughest organization in the world that you can be a part of, right? So how do you know when someone is right for the job? What does it really take?" So he asks the captain, and the captain draws a graph. And this graph is your typical graph. It's X and Y axis, right? On the X axis, he writes the word competence. And on the Y, he writes trust. In his scenario, he explains competence as your skill set to do whatever it is that you do at your job, whatever it is that makes you either good or bad at the job that you do. Whereas trust is, who are you? Who are you as a person? Who are you, as he says, off the battlefield, right? The line he used, which I thought was so cool, was he said, "I might trust you with my life, but will I trust you with my wife?" Okay, so yeah, so that says a lot to me. So then I started to think, okay, trust. So then he goes on to say, so if you have a 10 out of 10 competent individual and a 10 out of 10 trustworthy individual, no surprise there, everybody wants that guy or girl. That's what you want. Now, if you are incompetent or low in competency and low in trust, nobody wants that person. No surprise there either. What was interesting is the next things that he said. So he says, if you are extremely competent, a 10 out of 10, but not deemed trustworthy, you're a toxic leader, you're a toxic individual, and you're a toxic team member, and nobody wants that guy either, right? And then he follows up to say, okay, what we look for is someone who is on the middle ground in competency, but full trust, which I thought was very interesting, because the top organization in the world, where people risk their lives in Afghanistan and other places all the time, are more interested in trust than competency. This captain even went as far to say as, we would even take someone of low competency and high trust than vice versa. So that to me was a shocking message. So then I started to think to myself, what is this trust? You know, what is trust? Trust can be defined in so many different ways. There's no one way to really express what is trust. So I looked on the internet, and some things that stood out to me were when trust was defined or explained in a way that the ability for a person to be either trustworthy or trust really relies on being the ability and feeling of being able to feel safe, being able to open up, and being able to be authentic, right? So no fluff. Who are you really? Are you able to express that? Are you really able to show yourself as an authentic individual, completely open? That builds trust. And of course that means that, yeah, okay, so now the person has opened up to you, but how many times have you met this person? You might meet someone and say, yeah, you know, Michael, you're a trustworthy individual. I think so, but I don't know. It takes time to really trust someone. So you start slowly and say, okay, Day one, Michael, trustworthy face, let's see how this goes. You meet them a few more times and then suddenly you build trust. So trust is built on relationships, so it's all kind of connected, right? So the other factor about trust that was interesting is trust is a feeling. So you can command someone to trust someone else, but it doesn't work like that, does it? So I can say, Maya, trust me. I demand that you trust me. Right? And Maya will say, who the hell are you? You know, maybe I trust you a little, I don't know. But you know, the point is trust is a feeling that you get when you meet someone, and you can't just tell someone or order someone to trust someone else. You just have to build that up. So with trust being such an important thing, it brings me to my next sort of personal story, which happened a week ago. So I'm American, I'm from New York, and I celebrate Thanksgiving. But with my family being far away in New York, we call it Friendsgiving when it's no family involved, it's just your friends. And I made it a point to have an annual Friendsgiving event. So when it comes to Thanksgiving, it can be also, you know, different things to different people. It's a tradition, of course. To me, Thanksgiving is gratitude. To me, Thanksgiving is something you share with your friends and in an open and safe atmosphere. That's the whole value of the holiday. So since Thanksgiving is, by the way, tomorrow in the US, I thought I'd bring this up. So we had a group of friends, my husband and I, 12 people who showed up, and we had a dinner, and we had a very nice, lovely time. And then towards the end of the dinner, I asked everyone, which I do annually, to talk a few words about what they're grateful for. Gratitude is such a big component of your happiness, right? I mean, research shows that people who talk about gratitude and show thankfulness to their friends or family or whoever actually release endorphins, and it leads to overall well-being. So to me, it's a positive, fun thing to do. So the first person, or our friend, starts the conversation, and he talks really briefly, maybe 3 words, kind of, you know, the equivalent of saying, yeah, I'm thankful for this lovely table, great. And he keeps moving. Okay, so the next few people follow his example, and they say the same thing. They all say something very short, very on the surface, not really thought through or willing to open up or share, right? So they continue this until this person, who was maybe number 5 or 6 around the table, and this girl is introverted, so it was extremely shocking for me that it was her who kind of gave it more than the rest. But she took it upon herself to be the first one at the table to open up. And she said, for 3 or 4 minutes, she talked, and she said things like, you know, I'm really grateful for the experiences that I had over the year, the things that went wrong, that have shaped me, the family and friends who supported me through these really difficult times, and gave me an opportunity to have that safety net to jump into when I thought, oh, life sucks, you know? We all have those moments. So it was interesting to see that after this girl opened up, our friend, every single person at the table following her did exactly that. They continued to tell their story, but it was meaningful, it was trust felt, it was amazing, and we all at the end felt really connected because we didn't expect for it to be just, you know, this going from kind of surface to jumping really deep. And that's the human nature, the ability to connect and to have that openness and safety net. What was even more astounding was that at the end of the round of the table, the first few people who took the 3-word speeches and really didn't say so much actually said, hey, can I please go again? And they did, and this time it was meaningful and beautiful and deep. And I thought to myself, my God, you know, one person can make a huge difference. So the value of this whole thing, why do I bring this up today, is because we're sitting here in a room with, I think we had 130 plus registrations, and we know each other, some of us don't. We see each other, we say hi, but the connections need to be built, and the connections that are built need to be based on trust. And in order to have trust, you have to trust to be the one to open up first and allow other people in, because that in itself will build the kind of relationships that we all want. And we are intelligent here in this room. We all suffered through the EMBA with that first module that was, my God, that was so difficult. But we all got through that module, right? So we're here to be able to connect on a different level, and I guess my message from this whole talk is to say that don't be the one sitting on the outside, be the one that starts and makes that first leap of faith to open up and engage the person next to you on the table and invite them and share and connect over the year, not just once a year at the alumni dinner. So I hope you guys hang out with each other and meet up more with us. That's all I can say. Thank you.